Oh, hi. I'm about to start recording this episode. I suggest you subscribe, stick around, keep track of the series and other episodes that I make. Anywho. Hi, hello. Welcome to Spell Day. We're covering a spell every single day of the year from the 5e PHB plus 3. Those specialty spells are homebrew spells. We're at plus 2 at the moment. Get it back in playlist to find them. And today's spell is Suggestion. Second level enchantment, casting time for 1 action, range of 30 feet, components verbal material, a snake's tongue, and either a bit of honeycomb or a drop of sweet oil. Duration concentration up to 8 hours. You suggest a course of activity limited to a sentence or two and magically influence a creature you can see within range that can hear and understand you. Creatures that can't be charmed are immune to this effect. The suggestion must be worded in such a manner as to make the course of action sound reasonable. Asking the creature to stab itself, throw itself onto a spear, immolate itself, or do something obviously harmful, act ends the spell. Target must make a wisdom saving throw. On a failed save, it pursues the course of action you describe to the best of its ability. The suggested course of action can continue for the entire duration. The suggested activity can be completed in a shorter time. The spell ends when the subject finishes what it was tasked to do. You can also specify conditions that will trigger a special activity during the duration. For example, you might suggest that a knight give her warhorse to the first beggar she meets. If the condition isn't met before the spell expires, the activity isn't performed. If you or any of your companions damage the target, the spell ends. So, another one that has fallen to us covering the upgraded version of this. So, similar with Mass Suggestion, just a bit more limited in scope because you can't upcast it to last a really long time or on too many targets. In fact, this doesn't have an upcast at all. But second level, it's alright. An action, you suggest something, the issue is its concentration really stinks there. So, combat-wise, that kind of limits it because you want to have other spells up at the same time, and you can't do anything too obviously harmful to the creature itself, so you can't say like, hey, we're in active combat, I suggest you take off all your armor and drop your weapons and walk amongst us. I'd argue that's obviously threatening or obviously harmful. I don't know, some DMs might rule otherwise. Making enchanter enemies really scary. But no, you can do it of like, hey, can you guard me from possible attacks for the next 8 hours? Or I suggest you act as my guard for the day. Just like with illusions and just like with the last suggestion spell, just a bit more limited in scope, it's all in how you word it. Because you can accidentally say something, especially with a DM that's very prickly about what your wording is, and they like move their hand. Hey, can you help guide me in a proper way? Can you guide me through these woods? And then they just give you directions and the spell ends after a few seconds. The one benefit of this spell over things like Charm Person or Friends, they don't know this was cast on them. If it doesn't work, or even when it ends, unless it was something really obvious, they don't know what happened. They just took a suggestion. Magically reinforced one, but they don't need to know about that. There's also setting up the keywords or specific triggers, essentially, for whatever the order was. But 8 hours is it's a decent window, but it's a smaller window. I mean, it's got great utility. Great utility. Combat-wise is arguable on its actual application, but in the player's hands, NPC hands, world-building hands, anything subterfuge or mind-altering affecting, I don't see any, good organization. Well, actually, now that I think about that, I suggest you come peacefully with us, as like a policing force. But would a criminal see that as obviously hostile or harmful? That comes up to DM. But outside of that, it's got great applications, both player and NPC hands. Villain or otherwise. 8 out of 10! 8 out of 10, based off your specific wording, and believing your DM kind of allows a lot of wording to get around. Depending on the exact phrasing and what element you're using this in, it can be really great, especially because they don't know this was cast on them. That's the fantastic part. And it's only second level. I thought this was third. The base suggestion? At my tables, they're high level. I've just seen mass used a bunch more. So it's been a while since just basic suggestion. But no, 8 out of 10. It's a good spell. Good spell.